Okay, good evening, everyone. I wanted to start on time. It's exactly just going to be about 1 or so minutes after 7 o'clock. This is being recorded. It's being recorded for purposes that we can share with you, and also folks who perhaps weren't able to join us. They can watch the recording and go through some of the insights that we're going to share tonight. So those folks who are watching this and recording feedback, welcome, and some great notes that I'm sure you'll take, and some insights regarding our nominations for the class of 2023. And that's the purpose for tonight's conversation, is to help everyone, be it those live and watching this recording, to help you with your process and putting together a nomination information package for the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. One of our mandates is to acknowledge the significant and exceptional achievements and contribution to athletics and sports and culture, I would add, within the great town of Aurora. And there are many Aurorans that are in our community, and I'm confident in saying the following statement that will be able to flood the nomination process. We should be having multiple nominees coming in, because this amazing community has really resulted in a number of great athletes, builders, contributors, and coaches. So let's just start with the process. So all of this begins with you going to the aurorashof.ca website, and it starts with going to the link I've shared with you on this screen in the slide deck. And really, that is where the starting point is. That starting point includes the downloading of the application, and I still call this the cover page. It's really an application, but really it talks about a variety of things that we're going to talk about here in our conversation. This is where the process begins. I always highly recommend people review each section of the application, and please connect with me if you've got any questions, if you have any particular concerns. Please connect with me on that, and please fill out the application as best as you can. If there's something that you're not understanding, reach out to me and I can certainly help you out as much as I can. And that is the web email address, president@aurorashof.ca. So this is where the journey begins for everyone who's interested. Eligibility. Now, there is an eligibility, and you will notice on the website, and you'll notice on the slide here in front of you, that there is an eligibility, but they're all or. So, we start with was born in Aurora, or maintain residency in Aurora for 5 consecutive years, or was raised or spent their formative years in Aurora, or achieved their athletic prominence in Aurora, or made their athletic contributions to athletics and sports in Aurora. So, first category, no particular order, I just did this sort of alphabetically, is a category of athlete. And the athlete's sport, this is really, again, stuff you can see recycled on our website and on the form. But when we talk about the athlete sport must have a corresponding provincial, national governing sporting body in Canada. So there has to be a governing body that is one that regulates that specific athlete's sport. They must have demonstrated an outstanding achievement in their athletic field of endeavor, or brought honor and fostered pride in the town of Aurora through their athletic achievements. Number 2, an athlete must have been out of the competition in their acknowledged sport for a minimum of 5 years. So really what that means is, if you've got an athlete who's actively involved right now, is not eligible, because they have to be out of that sport for a minimum of 5 years. And the competition can be local competition, it can be regional, it can be provincial, it can be national, it can be on a provincial level. It can also be a combination of all, or a combination of 1, 2, or 3. But the point is, there has to be some level of competition that they would have been part of while they were competing in their specific sport as an athlete. Let's go on to coach. Again, coach's sport must have a corresponding provincial, national governing sport body in Canada, very much like athlete. They have made a major contribution to the development and advancement of that sport. Again, in this case, it could be a combination locally, provincially, nationally, or internationally. A combination, one or. It'll be dependent on your candidate. This individual has compiled an outstanding career in coaching and managing athletes through their career. And this is important to understand that this coach who you are submitting, if it is someone that is a coaching category, must be out of the competition in their acknowledged field for minimum, again, 5 years, but in this case must be over the age of 50 years of age. So that's important to know for those individuals who are going to be submitting individuals in the coaching category, minimum 5 years or be over 50 years of age. And the last category is the builder contributor, and we saw a few of those in the last few years come in to our Aurora Sports Hall of Fame family and Hall of Famers. Again, this nominee as the builder contributor must have demonstrated an outstanding service to the sporting community of Aurora over the period of years in sport. So contributing to sport in Aurora through either philanthropic or active reason, purpose. A great example is one of our first Hall of Famers in 2013 was Mr. Frank Stronach. This individual also having been active in any capacity serving sport, such as in forms of being either an official, an administrator, or in the areas of health, or even just management. And the last point to be made is that they've made a significant financial contribution to the building of that particular sport or infrastructure in the town of Aurora. So just understand, if you are watching this recording and you have a builder contributor in this category, these are some of the requirements you need to understand. Just some best practice and tips that we have learned through the years, this is coming to our 10 year, that we just wanted to share with you, and I'm sure others who are also available, like Hall of Famer Lowell McClenny, who wasn't able to join us tonight, but he's done some talking in previous nomination information sessions. He's also someone that we can lean on in terms of some tips and best practices. So here's a few I just wanted to share with you. The biggest part of this process is going to be the investment of time to write that 500-word, I'm going to say essay, editorial. It's really vital that you really hone in within 500 words, a very strong narrative of the why. Why is this individual someone that should be strongly considered by our selection panel and eventually recommended to our board of governors? So I feel that this is a very important piece of your package. So I would suggest spend a good chunk of time on the narrative. Why? Why is this individual important to be considered? What have they done particularly to contribute to our community? What have they done to contribute to our community, both either as a volunteer, as someone who's given back, maybe not only as this person was an athlete, but they gave back as a coach or a mentor. This type of information and story needs to be noted in your application and your nomination package. What should be in your package? We get this in the years. We've been asked, what should I be putting in here? So a couple of things to consider. You should include letters of recommendations, letters of accommodation, if they've received any awards, images, photos, media clippings, links to videos if they've been on media, television, or they've done radio communications, interviews, anything of any media that you can get your hands on. Please add that to your nomination package. Any statistics, research that you can get of this athlete, builder, contributor, or coach, add that in. Any community stuff they've done after their career, maybe they volunteer for certain organizations, or if they've done some philanthropic work, they've given back to the community, that type of stuff. And the reason I say all this is because you got to remember, the selection panel, who is an anonymous group of individuals, they are only looking at your package by what you present them. They don't have computers or phones or iPads with them to go through this. They're looking at what you have submitted to them, and that's what they're going by when they're going to go do their matrix. And we've created this electronic matrix scoring sheet, and there's certain categories in there which connect back to what I've spoken with already in terms of provincial and the different levels of competition and the work they've done and the giving back they've done in the community. All this stuff's in the matrix. This selection panelist, the person anonymously who's in this committee, is going to only look at your package and then go back to the matrix scoring sheet, electronic scoring sheet, and then score that individual up to a maximum of 100 points. So be aware that what you're going to submit is what is going to be put in front of that selection panelist. Be aware of that. So what I'm also recommending moving forward, send your stuff in an electronic package. That would include the links and PDFs of everything. Put it into a nice electronic package. And perhaps if you don't have either the software or the capability, no worries. Send it to me, because they're all going to be coming to me. Send it to me in whichever way you can, and I'll get it all put into one PDF document, which then I will submit after April 1 to our induction committee chair. Okay, let me now go into expectations, and please, if you've got questions, absolutely, if you're watching this recording, send me the questions via email, president@aurorashof.ca. And those folks who are watching as we're recording this, we're going to do our Q&A, but we'll stop the recording and then we'll do our Q&A. All right, let's talk about the process. So everyone is aware what the process is. We want to be not only fully transparent, but we want to manage your expectations in the timeline that this is going to take. So step number one, in terms of the process and expectations, is review. So the nomination packages are submitted to the nomination committee that I am chairing, and they are sent to me for me to review with the person who's submitting the package. And I'm only reviewing it with that individual because I want to identify either gaps or things that are, hey, this is really good. Do you have more information around this? That type of conversation. Please, as I said, provide all copies and links in a PDF document and email it to that email address you see. Now, we have a deadline of Saturday, April the 1st, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to wait till Saturday, April 1st. Let's start that conversation. And this conversation, as I've mentioned at many others, this conversation on nominations shall be a yearly conversation. It shouldn't just start, at the beginning of each year. It shall be throughout the year. If you've got someone that you are thinking about to nominate for 2024, let's have that conversation. So first step is review. The second step is submit. So the nomination committee will then, once we've reviewed it, we will then submit your package to the induction committee, and there is a chair who runs that induction committee and has a number of volunteers in her induction committee. That induction committee is going to review and provide submissions, including those from previous years. So let me pause right there. If your nominee, your nomination doesn't necessarily make the cut for 2023, that's okay. There is a 3-year shelf life for that individual. So you have the opportunity, if that person doesn't necessarily make the cut for 2023, you still have the opportunity throughout the year to add to the submission, and you have the opportunity for that submission to be resubmitted to the induction committee for 2024's consideration. So just be aware that that is also the case, that there is a shelf life of a 3-year process. So if there are previous applicants from last year who were looking to get submission and possibly approved in 2020 for the class of 2022, and those folks who did not make the cut are going to be put into that same group as the ones that are coming in for this year. And then we get into selection. So select. So the selection committee, who is an anonymous group of volunteers, they have a matrix scoring sheet that they are going to have in front of them. They will have their nomination packages in front of them that is going to be submitted. And they will score each package based on, as again, that matrix to a maximum of 100 points. They will then, after all that, in conversations and meetings and discussion, that selection committee, that selection panel, will then recommend the successful candidates for selection back to the induction committee, who will then review those selections and have that conversation amongst themselves. And once they are ready, the chair of the induction committee will then come to one of the Board of Governors meeting with the board members and present the recommendation for the class of 2023. At that point, there is a conversation. It's not necessarily just, STEM. There is a conversation of these individuals. Some cases there's a conversation of, well, give us some more information and why are you recommending this individual over perhaps this individual? There's that conversation that goes on. And then once that conversation is done, there's a vote for the recommendation. The Board of Governors then takes the vote, and ultimately there is then approval by the Board of Governors to then approve the class of 2023. And what we've done, with exception to the first few years, we've tried pretty consistently to be having 4 inductees every year, and that's so far so good. And we shall see in this year. We have not, and we're still working on this because we have received questions on this, and people who are watching the recording, who are watching this live, may ask, well, what about teams? We are working through that process, and that is a plan to announce that in the very near future, but that is not applicable for the 2023 class of inductees. And then we talk about notify. Then it goes into the communication part. Then we are going into the notification two ways. One, once the nominees are approved by the Board of Governors, it goes back to the chair of the induction committee. That chair then gets on the phone and connects with the nominee, with the potential inductee. So they then break the amazing news to that individual over the phone and announce that they've been selected into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame as the next class of 2023. There is some great conversation that goes on there. A lot is shock and surprise and just some amazing positive energy that comes out of that whole experience. And then in some cases, people do ask, well, who nominated me and stuff? And certainly if you want to stay anonymous, that's up to you. If you don't, then that information then is said, oh, well, this is the individual who submitted your application. So that happens, number one. And then once that's confirmed, then the person says, yes, I accept the nomination. Yes, I'm very, very happy and excited to be inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Then that's great. What we do is then we already prearrange every year. We prearrange a delegation in front of town council at the town chamber. And this year it's going to be Tuesday, June the 6th, in front of town council. Delegation request has already been submitted. And we ask that as many people as possible come. We ask our board members, our volunteers, people who put submissions in. We certainly ask the inductees for the class of 2023 to be there. We haven't necessarily done this as diligently, and I'll be very upfront with you, as we've wanted to do in the past, but I want to do this so make it a really big deal in 2023. And we have council chamber with all kinds of people there celebrating these inductees into the class of 2023. Once that happens, and that's now public, media then is identified, local media with the Auroran folks, then that whole process, the induction celebration kicks in. The induction committee is done. The selection panel is now done their work. Thank you very much. The Board of Governors is all done. Now the induction celebration committee and the volunteers and the event manager who is retained for services, we've budgeted funds for them. They then take it on and do a whole process right up until our induction celebration event that happens in November. For the timelines, just for some visual review, talked about starting the whole journey whenever, right up until April 1. Then we talked about April the 17th, the selection panel, then the recommendation goes to the board. May 18th is then, I think I got the dates wrong, it should be Tuesday, and then Wednesday is the board meeting, and then June the 6th, that spoke about the delegation in front of town council, and then November 2nd, mark this on your calendar. November 2nd is our big 10th annual induction celebration evening. This year again, we're back at the Royal Venetian Mansion here in Aurora on Industrial Parkway, and we always say this: everyone is welcome. You don't have to be a part of the inductee or be friends or families of them. Absolutely, those individuals are invited and come and attend. But please, we're wanting all Aurorans to come and celebrate this amazing event and celebrate with these inductees who are getting inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. It's an extremely special night for not only the inductee, their family and friends, and other folks who come and experience this great event with us. Okay, here's the date. We're so honored to have our MC Rod Black back, emceeing for, I don't know, probably what, 7 out of the 10 years. I think it's about 7 out of 10. It's a long time, let's put it that way. And Rod's a big fan, and we're very, very, not only honored, but we're always excited to have Rod MC our great event. He puts such an amazing tone and flavor and humor to the environment, and it's awesome. So he's certainly going to be back Thursday, November the 2nd, Royal Venetian Mansion. Just save that date, 5:30, and as we start moving forward with this process, people will start to receive communications for the event in terms of ticket pricing and how to purchase tickets and all that good stuff. So just a quick recap, and then we can open up the floor here. Again, nomination packet submission. We talked about what that looks like and what needs to be in that package and what should strongly be considered to be added in the package. But remember, that nomination package is what is going to be put in front of those selection panelists. We talked about the eligibility of the nominees. There were about 5 eligibility points, all or, but as I said, it could be a combination. In many cases, many of the nominees have, some cases 4 out of the 5, 5 out of the 5, but just understand, and again, that's reinforced back on the website. Certainly, we talked about the categories. So right now it's 3 categories: athlete, coach, builder, contributor, and the plan is in the future to be then announcing what our policy and our direction is going to be for teams as a 4th potential category. We talked about the best practices and the tips. So keep in mind, you want to build this case, you want to build this package, and really build that question of why should my nominee be strongly considered over some others. Not to say one is better than the other, but it's really, it's really that story. As I mentioned, it's that 500-word story, that narrative, that really is one that kicks it right off in terms of the strength behind your nomination package. And then we went through some key dates and the process, just so that everyone is aware in terms of expectations of the timeline that this takes, because it does take some time to put together a nomination package. Full transparency, I have one in the hopper. I'm going to resubmit it again, and it took at least a good month and a half to put it together. But I started quite early in the process. I didn't necessarily start in the new year. But all I'm saying is it does take time. This is the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, right? It's a big deal in our community, and so it does take some time for you to put this together. Hey, folks, we are on social media, and I know some people are on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. We're on these 4 social media channels. Please, if you are on one of these channels or all the channels, please come and join our community. We communicate all kinds of cool information, some insights, some videos, stuff that really will get you to know the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. There's also call out for volunteers. We're always looking for volunteers to join our family and our team. It's a great and amazing organization. Our culture is really building into a culture of excellence and fun, and most importantly, a culture of just respect. And we respect each other as teammates and as family, and we want to build this thing. And remember, we're all volunteers, including myself. We're all volunteers doing this, and I can't thank the volunteers enough for their amazing work and time that they do to put this organization together in terms of where it is today. Okay, with that said, I'm going to wrap this up for the recording. If you're watching this recording, please, if you've got any questions, please let me know. Send me a note, email president@aurorashof.ca. I'm going to finish it off recording wise. Thank you very much for watching this recording, and thank you for your support for this great organization, institution that we call the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. So thank you, and we'll connect with you very, very soon.